Well, hello YouTube. Here we are with a little bit of a once over fix it type of video. Well, in front of us here we have a little single speed bicycle. This one here, I guess you could call her a vintage cruiser, now. But when I bought this bike, probably a good, 12, 14 years ago or so, it was, a fairly nice single speed bike. It is a Kona brand bicycle, and it is the A'Ha model. And of course it is the Kona cruiser bicycle. Basically that means that it is a single speed bike. It does have, the good brakes, not the brakes on the pedal like a lot of the single speed cruiser bikes do. This is kind of something I've been wanting to build for a while, in fact, but when I was able to find it to buy, I went and bought it rather than building. So of course, one of the first things I had to do after getting it was actually replacing the cranks. Partly to do with that's my fault because I changed out the pedals for something a little better. However, of course, I didn't get the pedal in there all the way tight enough, and it backed its way out and stripped the threads. But hey, that's the way she is. That's how you learn, right? And of course, I did change out the brakes. It used to have the older style cross top, brakes, and I did put the V style brakes on her. It's been very, very well ridden. It's been well used since then. I've gone through several sets of tires, and really, when you consider how simple this bike is, it's actually very, very almost the perfect bicycle. Well, of course, with use comes chips and wear and damage and stuff. Well, of course, these chips here, if this camera will focus, as you see, they're from not a kickstand, in fact, but they're actually from my trailer. I use this bicycle as my work, can't really call her a work vehicle, but if I do have something to do, I'll take the bicycle out, and this is the one of choice. So of course I've been wanting to do a little bit of changes and upgrades to it. One of the things on my list to do is a high-rise stem. However, of course, this stem that's on here is really, really narrow, about 1.5 inches, and all the stems that I have in my collection are about 2 inches plus for the thickness, and I don't want to stretch the little nut that's down inside, or nor do I have a bolt long enough to bridge the distance between the old to new. So we'll have to kind of just it is what it is. I'd like to change out the seat. This one here, obviously it's been well used. I'd like to change out the seat. This one here obviously has been well used, but it still works. It's got quite a bit of wear on it, but again, it is what it is. And I did put a cheap drink holder on there years ago. However, it did break away, and it's gone by the wayside now. So I'd like to put another bottle holder in there just to have in case. And of course I did put these cheap plastic fenders on, but they were a hassle way back, so this one here kept getting caught on everything, so I just took it off. And this guy here, the rear one, I've thought about taking her off, but it still does come in handy. Both tires are checked, but they do hold air. They haven't got any real big cracks in them yet. And really, basically, away we go. So of course, this is the seat here that I'd like to change out and put on it. It's still in really, really good shape, this seat here. And of course, it does work with the new style or newer style rails. Pretty much you just unbolt that bottom nut there. The seat goes over top, should allow you a little more cushion for the riding. And of course, if you're out riding at night, you probably should have some type of reflectors or so, but in this case I'm going to use this reflective light. It's not really for me to see them, it's more of the line for them to see me, I know what I'm doing, but what are they doing? And of course, years ago, the grips that were on here split and virtually fell off. I did put a set on here. In fact, these are off of a kid's bike, because at the time that was the only selection of parts I did have. Well, since then I've acquired these green used set from a friend. So pretty much we're going to have to stick these on. I'll probably have to slide the brake lever over a bit to compensate for the difference, because I don't really want to trim these. Stick them on, and we got some pretty good, well, you know, grips again to run with. So pretty much, guys, let's start on this old bike, see how far we get. So of course I got the old beverage holder removed, but I ran into a snag. The one that I was going to put on it, as you see there, the mounts are really close together, and on the frame here they are farther apart. So I guess this one here I cannot be used on this here bike. So of course put the bolts back in, because that's a sure way to get water inside your frame, especially if you leave your bike outside in the rain or whatever. So I guess we'll be on another hunt for another you know, beverage or bottle holder. Not like I really drink much when I ride the bike, but it's nice to have the option to have a bottle holder there. You can always use the bottle for storage, you know. You can put tools in her or whatever's, you know. So I've already took the liberty to loosen off the brake levers, slide them on over. We're going to have to either cut these grips off or squirt something in there to loosen them off, and then slide the new ones on. So of course I don't want to have much liquid under these new grips. So being these are used grips, are not really much of any value, even if they were from an adult's bike. You know, they're not much of any value to begin with. So what I'm going to do is probably just end up cutting them. Now of course when you do cut, obviously don't cut towards you. And of course, you know, if you value the paint on your bike, try not to scratch it either. But in my case, I got a possible plan for this here bike in the future. So what I'll probably end up doing then is maybe a winter project. Now I believe the grips were off of like a stunt bike or a freestyle bike. That's why they're a little bit longer. But in my case, they're going to have to work for what I want to do them for. So pretty much put them up over the bar. Of course you are going on dry, if you want to say, so sometimes you got to give her a little something to get it in there. So pretty much just take your grip, put it on your bar, make sure you got a fairly good you know, stand on your bike, whatever you're leaning it against, kind of pushing and working it onto the handlebar of the bike. Now of course you don't want to undershoot it, but you don't want to overshoot the grip getting on there as well. So pretty much, guys, we'll give this brake lever a little bit of a tighten down. I like to leave my levers a little loose until I get the bike on the ground. Then that way I know, you know, what pitch to put the brake levers at, because sometimes you want them more flatter, depends on your riding style, and sometimes you want them more, you know, angled. Of course, to remove the section of broken fender and its bracket, pretty much they just held on by that one bolt that's a through and through in the fork there. You can put a flat wrench on the back side and a flat wrench on the front, or a socket and a wrench, or whatever you want to use, but of course we'll use my method here with the screwdriver. Pretty much just spin it on out. I'm surprised that the hardware has lasted this long on these quality of fenders without rusting. If only they would have put that kind of care into the fenders themselves. So of course with the seat here, pretty much what I did is I just loosened off, you know, the bottom bolt here on the bottom of the seat post. And then once I loosen it off enough, basically it becomes really, really loose. I just gently pull up on the top plate, which is right there, and then it just turns out of the way, put the new seat on, turn it back in. If you take it apart, you run the risk of mixing up the pieces, losing pieces, having trouble. So I find this way works for me, just quick, simple, and easy. So I guess we'll, you know, drop the bicycle on the ground. We'll do a final tighten on the seat post and the brake levers. Swing the rack back in place, and then she'll be good to go. Okay, so the next thing we're going to install is going to be a little rear flashing type of light. It's not so much for me to see the oncoming traffic, but for the oncoming traffic to, well, see me. As you see, it you know, has a multiple. As you see, it has a multiple settings for the light to go through. Pretty much is supposed to allow them to see you before they have a chance to run into you. Now, of course, when you are installing used products, you sometimes have issues. They sometimes break on you, which do put a cramp in your style. Sometimes they won't fit the same diameter of tubing as you want them to, and then of course you got to go with another plan on that as well. So of course this basically just mounts like that, and then we're good to go. So I'll run this screw in, and then we'll come on back when we go to mount the rack. Now, of course, being there's a rack on this here bike, I mounted the light up as high as I possibly could get her. For one, it'll be a little more visible that way, and two, of course, with the rack in the way, it kinda has to be. So you want to make sure the light is fairly straight with the bike. Swing the rack back in, and then basically tighten these two bolts down. Now, of course, I found with this wonderful rack, pretty much right from factory, it never really did fit this seat post like I felt it should. It always wanted to wiggle down, always wanted to move, always wanted just to be a pain. There was a time where I contemplated actually taking it off of this bike, because really I don't 110% use it a lot, and when I do, I usually have a backpack on, you know, anyways. This is more of a redundant type of cargo carrying method. Guys, so once you got everything pretty much once over, tightened on down, time to give her a little bit of a mechanical side of things, making sure the brakes are good, you know, the chain is tight, all that good stuff. Once that's all pretty much tight, use your favorite cleaner of choice, you know, cleaning off all the dirt, grime, whatever's. Pretty much making sure if your bike does have gears, making sure the gears work and all that, making sure the brakes work. And once you're all done, use your favorite type of grease. Some people like the 3-in-1 penetrating oil. Some people like WD-40. I like to use the you know, white lithium grease. Now, pretty much, of course, this is just my own preferred method. It has worked for me in the past, and it should work for me quite well in the future. We got the handle grips there all pretty much changed over, brake levers moved on over, tightened on back down, removed the bracket off of, you know, the fork. Would have liked to put on that water bottle holder, but I guess, you know, that's the way she is. Changed over the seat, put a little flashy light, retightened down, everything good to go there. Did a little bit of a once over on the mechanic side of it, you know, the brakes, the chain, the pedals, stuff like that. Checked the air in the tires, and basically away she's ready to go for another few more years. And that's pretty much been a once over, a little bit of a tune-up on a Kona A'Ha Cruiser bicycle. And as always, thanks for watching Maxwell's World. Comment, subscribe, and enjoy.